Good morning, Northway family. Happy resurrection. It is actually 11:35 on Saturday night, and it has a few important things that I wanted to be able to convey to you, three in fact. And so let me be brief and get right to the point. Number one, I want to encourage you as you come tomorrow morning, would you do our guest a favor and sit up front. Let's crowd the front. That way we ensure there's plenty of space in the back for our guests so that they don't have to fight to find a seat. All right? The second thing I want to ask you to do is consider being responsive during the invitation time. One of the things that the scriptures show us is that true worship is based on faith, not feeling. And so we don't wait for a feeling to determine whether or not God is worthy of worship or prayer. That doesn't mean that it's bad if a feeling moves us to worship or pray. But what it does mean is I don't need a feeling to worship and pray. When I go up on the mountain to pray, however many times a week I do, there's times I'm tired, there's times that I'm troubled in my heart, I've got things on my mind, and I always worship. And I always worship because that's based on faith, not feeling. And so I want to encourage you at the invitation time, based on faith, that you'd be responsive to God. First, because He's worthy of it, but the other reason is our guests who come. They need to be able to see that people know how to connect with God. That's one of the greatest ways to make it obvious that God's in this place and He's speaking to people. So keep that in mind. The third thing and final thing that I want you to do as you pull in the parking lot, before you get out of the vehicle, I want you to pray for a couple of things. Would you pray first that God's face would shine upon our presence, our attendance, our gathering in a tangible way, in a way that we can sense and feel and know? Would you pray that? Then you'd also pray that God would change people, that God would move us closer to Him, whether it's someone who's lost, who needs to get saved, or someone who needs a church and needs to make a habit of being in church, or whether it's some of our own Northway family and God speaks to their heart about growing in an area. Would you pray those things before you get out of the car and walk into the building? I'm going to trust that God's going to meet with us, and it's going to be a great resurrection celebration, and look forward to seeing you here in a few hours. God bless.